I'm going to go into RV transport and make $1,000,000. I didn't make any money on my first run. This is balls. Hold on to your panties, dude. That's not how it works.
I'm Tim, the truck's Daisy, and we are Haulin' Paws. I usually say welcome back to the channel, but if you're watching this video, then you're probably new. If you're new and you haven't been watching my videos, then click the subscribe button, click the little bell to get notifications, give me a thumbs up, you know, all that good stuff. And I'll put out some more videos if it helps anybody. Today I want to talk about managing expectations as you enter this industry. First, I want to say, if you haven't done research, lots of research, prior to jumping into this industry, I mean watching all the YouTube videos that you can, looking at the forums on Facebook and things like that, and really figuring out what this industry is about, then you will fail. If you jump into this thinking that you're going to take a $4,000 load and that's how much money you're going to go home with, you're being unrealistic. So let's tackle the first question. Can you make money in this industry? And the answer is yes, as long as you're smart and you're prepared. If you are not smart and you are not prepared, you will not make any money. One of the first things that I tell all new drivers is get an auxiliary fuel tank. You are not going to be very profitable without it. The goal is to put more miles down, stop less, and only stop where the fuel is cheap. If you have to stop just anywhere, then you're going to be paying top dollar for fuel, losing money, and you're going to be wasting time not rolling down the road while you're fueling all those times. So the first thing that you should do is make sure that your truck has an auxiliary fuel tank. The next thing is managing your expectations for pay. There's a lot of guys out here that are doing this that are running on about 40% net profit, maybe 45. Me personally, I don't think that's very good. But if it makes them happy, then great. If they can do it for that, then great. Now, net profit is how much money do you get to keep and put in your bank account that's not truck related expenses after it's all said and done. So if you take let's say a $4,000 load and you're running a 45% net profit, then you're only going to keep 45% of that. A better number to aim for is at least 50%. I usually run in the 60 to 68% net profit, and that makes me happy. It pays my bills. That might not be good enough for you, but I'm me. So let's say that you're running about 50% net profit. That means that if you take a $4,000 load going out west, that you're going to keep $2,000 of that. Put that in your bank account for home bills. Now, when you're factoring net profit, you're not factoring in your house payment and your pool guy's salary and things like that. You're factoring in the cost that it takes to run the truck and do this job. Nothing else. It's not your home electrical bills and things like that. That's not factored into net profit. So the things that you're going to factor into that is fuel, truck payment, insurance, food on the road, oil changes, fuel filter changes, tires, things like that. Truck related expenses. Only the things that you're spending on the truck. You can even factor in things like cell phone mounts and whatever else that you want in your truck. If you have a generator, then you have to factor in the cost of the generator, you factor in the fuel for the generator, you know, things like that. So before you get into this, you have to figure out what it costs to drive your truck for 1 mile. You need to know exactly, or as close to exactly as you can get, and what it costs to drive your truck 1 mile. That's relatively easy to figure out. A little bit of math, figure out what your fuel economy is, loaded and unloaded, figure out what your oil change costs you, and then divide it by how many miles you go, and that's what your oil change costs you for a mile. Same thing with fuel filters. And then after you've done this for a while, you can even factor in tires, because you'll know that you get whatever, 80,000, 90,000, 100,000 miles out of a set of tires. You can calculate that and figure out what that tire costs you for 1 mile. And you get all your operational costs in there for 1 mile. Now there's a few expenses in there that you can't calculate super accurately per mile, because it's going to kind of float. The cost of your truck payment per mile, the cost of your insurance per mile. You're not going to be able to calculate that fully until you've been doing this for a while, and you can kind of average your miles, see how many miles you do. Do you do 5,000, 6,000, 8,000 miles a month? And then you can do the division and figure out what your truck payment's going to cost per mile. You can sort of kind of ballpark it, but you'll get accurate the more data that you have. Right in the beginning, you won't be super accurate. Now, once you have that number of what it costs to drive your truck 1 mile, then you can look at the rate that you're getting to haul these campers and figure out kind of a ballpark of what net percentage that you'll be at. Are you going to be at 40%? That might not be enough for you. Wouldn't be enough for me. Are you going to be at 50%? Where you at least should be? Well, great. If you're going to be at 60 or 65, that's even better. And then you have to decide what's the lowest amount that you're going to travel for. Is it going to be $1.30, $1.40, $1.50? Where is your number that is the lowest that you're going to go? I mean, obviously we always want to take the highest paying load, but what's the lowest that you're going to go and still stay within the net percentage that you want? The next thing is, I don't care what the recruiters tell you, you should not expect a reload or a backhaul or a load coming back your direction, whatever you want to call it. Don't expect that every run out. Don't even put those into your calculation. If you get one, great. It's just more money into the pot and it increases your net profit. But do not factor that in your business model. And if you're not making a business model, knowing these numbers, and you're just going to jump into this business and see what happens, you are not going to be successful, because your expectations are not going to meet reality. So let's talk about your first load. The first load is going to be the most stressful. You're learning everything. You're learning all the paperwork. You're learning how the dealers take deliveries. You're learning about traffic. You're learning how your brand new GPS is working. You're going to be learning all these different things. How does your truck react to certain road conditions? How do you react to certain road conditions, traffic patterns, construction, things like that? Your first run is not going to be super profitable. You're learning all this stuff. You have to learn how to log, how to maximize your hours, how to maximize your miles. You're learning where you have to stop, where the truck stops are, where you can get cheap fuel. There's a whole lot of learning process that goes on after orientation and you're actually on the road. So if you take $1,000 load, short load in my book, that's just going home or going near your house, don't expect to be making a crap ton of money. If the thing pays $1,000, you're not going to make $900. It's just not the way it works. If you're going to take your first load that's only 700 or 800 miles, then you're going to have to pay for fuel and all of that. If you're getting a hotel for 3 nights on a 800-mile run, then you are not going to make it in this industry. My personal recommendation on your first run is to take a relatively shorter run, but take something that is going to be an overnighter. You drive for the day, you spend the night someplace, you finish driving the next day, and then you make delivery. What that does is it allows you to figure out what's going on with your truck, how you're going to manage sleeping and things like that. So you go overnight, you do one night, and then you figure out, am I sleeping the right way? You're gonna figure out that sometimes you might wanna park your truck so it's angled the right way, so your head's up instead of head down, which direction you're gonna sleep, things like that. So you figure that out. You also figure out what you're gonna do for meals. I travel with my cooler and my little cooker, and I do my meals on the road for the most part. But you have to figure all that out. You're still learning. You're not going to get the maximum miles in there. You're not going to get the maximum distance. If you grab the cheapest load that's on the board and then expect to make a whole bunch of money on it, then I don't know what to tell you. It's not going to happen. You're not going to make a whole bunch of money on a cheap load going one day away. If you grab your first load and take it straight home and then sit it in your driveway for a day, you're not going to make money that way either. You need to be rolling to make money. But the biggest thing is, don't expect to make a whole bunch of money on your very first run. You won't make your maximum profit even on your first few runs, because it's going to get better. You're going to get more efficient. You're going to use your time better. You're going to find cheaper fuel. So all of these things will add up and you'll get better, and your net profit percentage will continually go up until you find that sweet spot of where you're comfortable being. Eating dinners out and getting hotels every night is not the way to be the most profitable. Now, that might be the most comfortable for you. And if your net profit is at a range that makes you happy and you're still eating out and getting hotels, then great. That's fine for you. Don't let people tell you that you can't get hotels, but just understand that if you're getting hotels and eating out all the time, you are using up the profits from this job. There are more and more getting into this industry right now after the slowdown, and I'm seeing a bunch of them complaining about that they're not making $1 million on their first run. And I want to manage your expectations of your first run. So I hope that this gives you a little bit of idea of what to expect so you don't go in blind. I want everybody to succeed. I don't care what company they're pulling for. I don't care if they don't like me. I still want to see everybody succeed in this industry. But you do have to manage expectations. It will take time for you to get to your most profitable. You have to figure those things out, talk to a lot of people. Talk to people like me that have been doing it for a while that can give you some hints and tips and tricks and things like that. Now, I'm not saying that I'm the be-all, end-all, I know everything, because I'm still learning. If you're not continually trying to find more ways to save money or, spend less or get better deals and things like that in this industry, then you're going to stagnate. I'm always trying to get one more percentage of my net profit. So talk to people that have been doing this for a while and see what tips that they'll give you. Now, some guys won't give you any tips. They'll be like, those are my secrets and I'm not giving them away. But I don't see a point in that. That's kind of why I make these videos, to give away all those secrets. If you got questions, then, hit me up with your questions and I'll do the best I can to answer them. If I don't know the answer, I'll try to figure it out from somebody that does know that particular answer. But hopefully this video helped you a little bit. If it did, thumbs up the thing, subscribe to the channel and all that good stuff. And I hope that you do well and enjoy your journey. Getting out here and seeing the country is awesome. I was down in Florida last week, and I was watching or looking at the alligators and catching snakes and things like that. And then just now I'm coming back from California, where I was on the beach at the Pacific Ocean. So you get to see all these cool things and have a good time doing it and get paid. You just have to manage your business. And it is a business. It's not just I get a paycheck. You have to manage this business. So I hope this helped out. If it did, like I said, click the thumbs up. And as always, have safe travels, and I hope to see you on the road.